The topic this week is going to be Matchroom Fight Camp Week 1. Tonight we're joined by co-host Raymondo from the Northeast, and we are also joined by co-host Andy from fellow Nottingham. How are you, Andy?
Yeah, I'm good, lads. How's it going?
Yeah, brilliant. So there's only one place to start this week, and that's Matchroom Fight Camp. So just before we go through it fight by fight, I'll come to you first, Ray. Do you think it's value for money, this first fight card, and what's your opinion on it?
It's not value for money, particularly if you're paying 750 quid a ticket. I think it's absolutely shambolic, if I'm going to be honest. You know you're getting nowhere near the quality for that amount that if you're lucky enough to be there, unlucky, however you want to see it. I think it's a big shame Ben not being on this card for reasons he can't help. We'll touch upon that later, but it just emphasizes me the lack of depth of quality on this first card. It's really kind of starting, and I'm expecting more from Matchroom, considering this is one of the reasons why we're led to believe he went from Sky over to the Zone. I'm just a little bit shocked at the lack of quality on this card. So it kind of is what it is. I just hope that other big fights on the other two cards don't pull through, because with this COVID situation, this can effectively happen to anyone. It's really, we had Roberto Diaz on saying how nervous he feels until the fighters actually get on inside the ring. I'm afraid us fans are going to have that same feeling, because with this situation, with the testing, fights can be pulled left, right, and centre. But having said that, that still doesn't atone for the lack of quality on the card. Lee's on the top of the bill. To be honest, he probably should have been on anyway. It was quite insulting to him to put him on first on. But yeah, that's how I see it, Carl. It's just lack of quality.
Ray, they're very, very fortunate they put the Lee Wood fight on that card. You can take that away from this card, and what you're left with.
Oh yeah. It's I think that us lads, we have a go at Frank Warren, don't we, for similar terrible cards that he puts on, and a few of the American cards as well. This is probably one of the worst Matchroom cards that I've seen. It's probably one of the worst ones that I've seen, and I just can't sit here and defend it. I've got to call it out.
Yeah. All fur coat and no knickers, as you lot say up in the Northeast.
That's exactly what we say. Yeah.
I've been doing my own work, Ray. Been doing my own work. So, Andy, what do you reckon then about this fight card? Value for money or a disgrace?
What is it? Value for $199? Yeah, it is.
What about if he's paying 750 notes to sit there?
No, of course it's not. You have to bear in mind as well, Shannon Courtney should have been on this bill. So that would have been another world title fight on the card.
Who was our opponent?
Sorry?
Who was our opponent?
I don't remember, mate. But it was a world title fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So that's dropped off. Obviously, the Ben. We're going to come to find out in and I keep saying this, in a year or two, Ben's going to be the biggest draw on DAZN because he's such an exciting fighter. So he's a gigantic loss for this card. It's worked out really great for us Nottingham lads, because it now means Lee Wood's in his rightful place and headlining the bill, where, I mean, you can't, the bill was made before the Lee Wood fight got made. So you can't expect that Eddie Hearn would have put him top of the bill over Ben when all the blings about the Ben fight.
Let's have it one day. It's a bigger fight than Conor Ben.
It's a more prestigious fight than Conor Ben. Yeah,
it's a bigger fight.
But if you're a Matchroom, if you're a Matchroom or a DAZN higher management level, then Ben's a bigger fight because Ben's the guy they're pushing for the future. The way they look at it is, in 3 or 4 fights' time, Conor Ben's going to be fighting for a world title. That's their game plan for him. So they've got to be pushing him in the right places, and they've done the right thing putting him top of the bill. But as soon as Lee Wood came on the bill, he should have been. That should have been made a joint headlining fight, shouldn't it? If they weren't going to make a headlining fight, they should have made it a joint headlining fight. But instead, he decides to just drop it on first on the bill, which I didn't really understand. Didn't make a lot of sense to me.
See, I see an argument for putting it on first, because I think it's a bit of a big bang to start with, to be honest. So I can see why he's done that. But obviously it didn't work out.
But you look at the rest of the card, Carl. Where's the excitement coming from?
Yeah, I'd argue that's why
from on the card.
I'd argue, Andy, that's why he probably put it on first to gather the interest, and hopefully then it will carry through to the Conor Benn fight. Whereas if you're going to put Lee Wood behind Conor Benn, people are either not going to bother or they will be tuning in later on. And Eddie Hearn's all about his viewing figures, isn't it?
I just think, lads, it's a bit of a long drag. I mean, if you just look at who's on there, you've got either Hatton or Sandy Ryan first. You've then got Jack Cullen against
Jack Cullen, Yildirim's the first fight, mate.
Yeah. So you got Jack Cullen, Yildirim. Then you've got Anthony Fowler on, and then you've got Tom McCarthy against Billum Smith. So if you're not going to show Sandy Ryan and you're not going to show Campbell Hatton, you're going to go straight into it with Jack Cullen. I mean, I can't see that getting much interest stateside.
To be fair, though, Ray, the card has been savaged, hasn't it? It's been absolutely savage when you think about pullouts and God knows what else.
Yeah. But this is what because I sport. I've got to let Andy speak, and I know you raised a good point. But it was a world title fight, but Shannon Courtney pulled out with an injury. It must have been about 3 weeks ago, maybe even more. I don't know. Eddie always seemed to have a plan B. When these shows won the UK, he always had a plan B. If fight didn't go through, either we got a late replacement opponent in, or like he did with Fowler, or he's got another match ready to make up. And I just think Fight Camp would have been ideal for that, because you don't have to spend big bucks for it. There's loads of good domestic fights you could have had on there, just to even it out. And I just think it's an opportunity gone. I just think he hopefully learns for next time he does something like this. It's probably going to come, if the next fight comes next week, it's probably going to come too short if he hasn't got anything lined up, obviously, from Shannon Courtney's fight, and not for the main event. But that's essentially what's let him down.
Let's start working our way through the card then. And I know we're all talking about he's on first, but I'm just going to run through it in no particular order, okay?
Yeah.
So, first fight is Anthony Fowler versus Rico Muller. I'm sorry, but he just underwhelms me. That's the feeling I get of underwhelming. And the people that Fowler's calling out if he wins this fight, I don't know whether you heard the latest, Ray, but they're talking about him possibly fighting Liam Smith, 9th of October in Liverpool.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's the latest rumour doing the mill. So, yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm being deadly serious. It's on a lot of boxing fan pages. So Fowler better put a good show on here. But I'm looking at his Muller's record, and the note I put is that there's nobody of note on his record. It just seems like.
Fowler was originally supposed to be fighting Roberto Garcia, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this guy's come in at very short notice. Is it a week or two's notice, if that?
2 weeks' notice, I think.
So he doesn't get the juices going, does it, lads? To be honest.
I mean, he's got 3 losses, hasn't he?
28, 3-1.
28 fights. So you'd like to think he's going to be durable. You'd like to think the fight's going to go some rounds and give Fowler some well-needed ring time, because I think Fowler is a talent in the making. He's now with a fantastic coach in Nicole.
Yeah.
So no, but seriously, I think he is with a fantastic coach, and I think he's going to bring him on leaps and bounds. That being said, calling out Liam Smith if that's what he's done, or a fight game made with Liam Smith if that's the supposed rumour mill next step, I think that's absolutely crazy. If that is what is potentially being made or potentially being muted, that why is Anthony Fowler going there?
I don't know who's crazy, Anthony Fowler or Tim Tszyu.
Anthony Fowler, isn't he? Tszew's got nothing to lose. He loses against Liam Smith, and he can go back fighting the Russians he's been fighting.
The Australians.
Fowler loses here, and that's it. Where's he go?
I think Fowler will put up a better fight than Tim Tszyu, though.
Oh, of course he will.
Yeah,
But if Liam Smith's anywhere near the Liam Smith we know, Fowler's done.
Yeah.
And where's his career go from there, Ray?
I don't think much of Fowler, to be honest. As an amateur, he was okay, but the thing I've got with Anthony Fowler is that he was bigger than everybody else when he fought. Is that he was up at middleweight as an amateur. He was a lot bigger than everyone else, and he was a lot stronger than everyone else. And he as soon as he come up against an agile, skillful boxer as he did in the Olympics or international tournaments, he got found wanting. This guy that he's up against now, I know he lost against Ponce, who beat Ritson, but that was down to 10 stone. He's lost against Jeff Horn, that was at welterweight, and he lost against some Polish kid at welterweight. He's had a couple of fights up at light middleweight, but I can't see Fowler struggling with this kid. And I'm not a massive Fowler fan. I think Fowler will beat this lad.
Yeah.
But I just don't see anything past domestic level for Fowler. Considering now we're starting to see our British boxers struggle against European fighters. They're starting to go for the European and get beat. I think that lad that beat Cheeseman, Garcia, would definitely beat Fowler. I think a fully fit and psychologically fit, if you know what I mean by that, Scott Fitzgerald, if he's perfect, if he's bang on it, I think he beats Fowler again.
He beats everyone. He beats everyone apart from Liam Smith in that division.
Yeah. So
the biggest battle he's got is himself, though.
Yeah, it is.
Say that again, sorry, Carl.
The biggest battle he's got, Fitzgerald, is himself.
Yeah. I would agree with that. He's his own toughest opponent, but I just can't see. So even if, I mean, it's probably about time Fowler has a proper step up just to test him and to test the hype. But I would agree with Andy. Liam Smith will derail him, but anybody above European level would derail Anthony Fowler, in my opinion.
It's going to be interesting to see what McGuigan does with him in the time he has.
Not a lot.
In your opinion? I know we've had this discussion before. I know what Cole thinks about him. I think he's a lot better than Cole's giving him credit for. And what he does is he installs confidence in his fighters and he gets them to do the basics really well. Fowler showed a hint of that in his last performance, but McGuigan hadn't been with him for 5 minutes. It'd be interesting to see what happens in the next kind of 8 months to a year for me.
Yeah.